showing you how Britain's finest passenger and commercial vehicles are manufactured, may I introduce Mr. J.E. Foden to tell you why transport means so much to you.
It is a remarkable fact that the great majority of people are quite unaware of the tremendous part that transport, and all transport as movement, has on the life of each one of us. The time has arrived when we must all become movement conscious and take such interest as will materially benefit our way of life.
Fodens are proud of their ancestry. Our chairman, Mr. J. Wilde, addressing his co-directors, points to the founder of the firm, the late Edwin Foden, an engineer of the highest attainments. 1856, nearly 100 years ago, in this single small shop, he made his first steam traction engine, and its success led to steady expansion until 1901, when he entered a steam wagon in the War Office trials at Aldershot. Success led to a government contract, and in the 1914-18 war, Foden steamers led the way. In 1930, Foden successfully entered the diesel field. Here is Mr. William Foden, son of the founder and present managing director, between his two sons, sales director and chief buyer, discussing a new design. Agreement to build a prototype finds Mr. Twemlow supervising his department, the drawing office. Such products as the Crusader, Centaur tanks, and 1,600 heavy WD vehicles, which have operated in jungle, desert, and under Arctic conditions, also the 17-pound Crusader gun tower and bulldozer, and tractors for the Forestry Commission, these are only some of the problems solved here. All designs are passed on to the experimental shop for proving. In this shop, the prototypes are built, engines are bench tested, and continuous experiments are carried out on every part under the watchful eye of Mr. Twemlow. The constant search for greater operating efficiency goes on, and this tester is carrying out fuel consumption tests. A fully equipped laboratory where the chief chemist ensures all materials used in production meet the specification from the drawing office. Then passed on to the foundry where ferrous and non-ferrous castings are produced, ranging from a few ounces to 3 tons in weight, in various specifications of bronze, aluminium alloy and cast iron. This is a modern pneumatic jolt ram molding machine. Many varied molds of intricate shape are made by it. The mold we see is for a rear axle oil drain. Here, molten cast iron is being tapped from the cupola into a crane ladle, carrying the metal to the casting station. Hand shanks charged with metal from the crane ladle are carried by the casters, who pour each mold in turn. A skimmer is used to hold back the scale from the pouring ladle. Great care must be taken by the casters to ensure no scale enters. After cooling, iron castings are shaken from the mold and sent to the fettling shop for cleaning and inspection. Baked sand from molds is reconditioned and returned to the molding machines. Gearbox casings are cast from 2 ladles, each holding 90 pounds of aluminium alloy at a temperature of approximately 730 degrees centigrade. After cooling for 7 or 8 minutes, the casting is carefully removed. All internal cores are taken out, allowing the casting to contract freely. This oil-fired furnace is heating a sheet of high tensile steel before it goes under the press. Now you see it being placed in position under the press, operated by hydraulic power. In one movement, a complete cross-member for the frame is formed. Here is a 100-ton steam hammer so delicately controlled that it's possible to place a watch underneath it and with one blow crack the glass without damaging the dial. Any old watch is gratefully received. Our operator likes to keep his hand in, but he's not having mine. The welding shop, where the prefabricated parts are flame or arc welded together. Special masks are worn against the intense light. On this magnetic profiling machine, a pattern of the article required is placed in position and an oxyacetylene flame, guided magnetically, cuts a duplicate. This man is welding the end plates to a cross member. Stitch welding a mudguard balance, each spot weld overlaps the previous one in a continuous operation. The metals fusing together cause the spot. This machine is seam welding a fuel tank. The revolving copper wheel carries a heavy electric current which fuses the metal in one long continuous weld. Fodens are justly proud of their machine shop. It's the heart of the factory, and their policy of replacing machines with the most up-to-date equipment obtainable is a vital factor in obtaining a large output. A rigid inspection is carried out on every part as it goes through the various operations, and a final examination before it passes into the store. The limits worked to in this shop are very fine, and parts are rejected instantly should they exceed these limits. Thus, Fodens ensure that their good name for fine engineering work is maintained. This is the jig borer used for drilling the master jigs, and this machine has to work in a controlled temperature of 65 degrees. At this temperature, it's accurate to 1/10,000th of an inch. The toolroom inspection department checks over master jigs before use in production. These jigs enable the various other departments produce their items accurately matched, so they'll assemble together easily. Tolerances worked to are 1/10,000th of an inch. This gauging machine tests the concentricity and spacing of gear wheel teeth. This important operation ensures the silence and long life of the wheels in operation. Coming to the axle shop, we see a rear axle casing being turned. Casings are one-piece drop forgings of a special alloy steel. This is a multiple drilling machine capable of drilling and hammering 18 holes at one time. A wheel hub is here being drilled and reamered. The combined reamer drills are all positively located in position, so every hub is identically drilled. Grinding a patented Foden helical ribbed brake drum. Heat dissipation is even over the whole surface, ensuring freedom from distortion. Now we arrive at the frame shop. Here the frames are assembled before being passed on to the assembly line. Fitting a four-wheel bogie suspension system. A Foden feature with a great reputation for surmounting big obstacles under a full load. Side members being jig drilled. By jigging this operation, interchangeability of frame parts is assured, making it easy in the event of an accident to replace any particular frame member. It was in this erecting shop so many of Britain's finest tanks were made, now returned to its peacetime occupation. On either side of the assembly line, men are engaged upon the assembly of many major items. This fitter is putting together the worm wheel for the rear axle. The wheel itself is made of nickel phosphor bronze. Note the size and the big bore races which carry it. Lowered into the axle casing, it runs in mesh with a nickel steel worm shaft. The man on the left is fitting a brake drum. The gearbox, another unit much praised by the War Department. This is a 5-speed box. The lay shaft is being positioned, then the main shaft. Note how easily these parts go together through their accurate manufacture. Next stage of assembly, the super low casing containing the 5th speed is fitted, while another fitter positions the cover plate complete with tire pump. A control mounted in the cab brings this pump into operation and quickly inflates the tires. Now we move on to the actual assembly line, starting with the bare frame. Gradually the vehicle takes shape till the finished production rolls off ready for its road test. Now let's have a look at this first operation in the line. Here are a pair of rear axles ready to receive the frame, which is being gently lowered onto them. Now we see the engine being lowered into position from an overhead crane. This 6-cylinder diesel develops 102 brake horsepower at 1700 revolutions. Now the gearbox and radiator. The engine and gearbox are mounted on the Foden 3-point suspension system, ensuring freedom from vibration. The chassis moves steadily on to completion. Numerous parts are being added all the time: fuel tanks, fuel pipes, brake linkage, engine controls, propeller shafts, etc. The wood mill, where the parts comprising the cabin body are made, these are all jigged, so that in the event of an accident, individual pieces can be replaced by a standard part, ensuring customers a quick repair. Now let's have a look at the cab being assembled. Once again, the line system is used, the cab gradually taking shape as it moves along. Part after part being added, finally the doors are fitted and the complete cab is pushed through into the paint shop. Here it will receive its first coat of lead paint. Owners of Foden vehicles choose their own colour schemes. Many striking effects are called for. Some trademarks are works of art. It seems a pity to ever let them get dirty. But 10 coats of paint stand a lot of hard wear and still look smart. Our vehicle now approaches completion, and when the fitting of the body and mudguards has been effected, very soon it will be ready to start its road test. There is a type of heavy haulage vehicle for every user, no matter what his transport problem may be. Tractors, 8-wheel 15-tonners, 6-wheel 12-tonners, 4-wheel 7.5-tonners are just a few of the many types. A thorough road test, fully loaded to climb hills with a known gradient at a specified speed. This 8-wheeler's load is 3 5-ton weights. A severe test on the 1 in 3.5 section of the hill. The stop and restart is made. Over the top with power in hand, a really magnificent performance on the famous Mocop Hill, only a few years ago the terror of motorcycle trials. This is how Fodens tested their WD vehicles. First the water test, down to the bottom of the tank, remaining 5 minutes with the engine ticking over. This test passed, it's driven fully loaded to the test field and driven fast over rough ground. A punishing business this, but these Fodens can take it, and here is one of the reasons. The bogie suspension passes over 7-inch test blocks, showing marvelous flexibility. Let's have another look at these rear wheels from a different angle. Another product of Foden's is passenger vehicles, and this is a double-deck chassis leaving the works to have a body fitted. Note the cross-braced frame as she passes, a real tough job designed to eliminate width and prolong the life of the body. A handsome vehicle with its modern front. Further, a front designed to allow the engine to be drawn straight forward and out of the frame, enabling a reconditioned engine to replace it. The vehicle back in service in a matter of hours. We can assure them a very comfortable ride, for the suspension of this vehicle is a revelation, with the comfort of a good private car, and the driver's cab is a study of convenience and comfortable seating. Through the quaint old town of Sandbach ran the coaching road to London. These buildings date back to the 15th century, and the cobble paving and the narrow streets emphasize the modern bus and how easily it can be maneuvered. In Foden's engine overhaul and repair departments, they undertake rebuilding of vehicles, some of which have a mileage equal to 10 times round the world, and no matter what condition, they leave the works like new. This is a crack detecting machine. Any part suspected of fatigue is put through this test before being used again on the vehicle. The engine repair shop, with our Mr. Broster eyeing critically a hand-fitted engine bearing, one of the reasons why an engine overhauled by Foden's holds its oil pressure. And this is the department responsible for sending spare parts overseas, and large cases containing engines, gearboxes, back axles, etc. are all packed carefully to prevent damage on their long journeys. The same care is taken in dispatching small parts, and these girls are packing the many items used in maintenance. Payday. Foden's realize the importance of having satisfied employees. Contented men turn out good work. They have a club for all forms of sport, and the Foden football team has a great name. How do our vehicles behave in the hands of the customer, such as Hillhead Quarries in Derbyshire? Their business is tar macadam and granite chipping. Here is the Foden loading up. Amongst granite dust, the arduous nature of this transport is obvious. This 10-year-old vehicle is one of the 60 Fodens used by Hillhead. Arriving at the site, we prepare to tip 14 tons of granite chippings in less than a minute. A 4-cylinder hydraulic ram pump, driven off the gearbox, operates the twin hydraulic 3-extension rams. With the engine ticking over at 400 RPM, the load is cleared in 55 seconds. Fodens make tippers for every class of work. Earl's Cement Works, one of the most modern of its kind in the country, with a batch of Fodens starting off on their day's work. In the heart of Derbyshire, steep hills face them in every direction. Let's follow them to the famous Man Tor Hill. A few miles from the work, they pass at sea level. Without moving our position, we pick them up again with a telephoto lens high up in the mountain. In a few minutes, they have climbed 800 feet. The Cement Marketing Board have 54 of our wagons. Beer, beer. This all-important commodity must arrive on time. Again, Foden's provide the transport. Shipston Brewery, Nottingham, brewers of fine beer, keep their Fodens in immaculate condition and are repaid with unfailing reliability. They are one of the many breweries using Fodens. Oil, another vital necessity in the world today. A Foden tanker wagon belonging to A.S. Jones, Liverpool, arrives at the Liverpool oil storage depot and unloads 3,500 gallons of oil in 30 minutes with the aid of a variable speed power takeoff. The pump is capable of discharging to a point 30 feet above the vehicle. Flour. Millers all over the country use Fodens for their transport, and you see here one of them unloading at a railway siding. Carriers of general merchandise, Northern Motor Utilities, own over 70 of our vehicles. They have many different types of bodies fitted, the van type being predominant. A naval vessel built inland is on its way to the sea with the help of a Foden tractor. Now a few standard models. Model OG46, 4-cylinder, 6 tons payload. DG47.5, 4-cylinder, 7.5 tons payload. A tipping version of the DG47.5. DG512, 5-cylinder, 12 tons payload. The same model as a tipper. DG615, 8-wheel, 6-cylinder, 15 tons payload. And here is a tipping version of it.
You have by now gained some impression of how the Foden goods and passenger vehicles are produced, and the way in which the firm has built up its present reputation. To our many customers and friends, we tender greetings and thanks for their continued support. We are, however, always looking for new friends.